Welcome to episode 188 of Timm Talk, the podcast about the DC animated universe, co-created by Bruce Timm. I'm Chris Lord.
I'm Cameron Dexter.
And we're back.
We're back, baby.
For
that 1 month.
For those of you that are listening to this, you just heard another episode the week before where we said we're back. It's been several months since we recorded that one, but we're back once again.
I'm excited. It's nice to be back.
I am too. It is nice to be back. It was nice to dive back into Justice League.
It was.
Yeah.
For the one we've been preparing for years.
Right? And like, did you look at the episodes that are like coming up even very soon?
I did not.
Okay, it's just like even just a casual glance at like the next episodes listed when I was starting the episodes today on HBO Max, like a lot of the ones we keep talking about are in this first season.
Yeah.
Like the one-off episodes that we're so excited to get to, not necessarily the Cadmus stuff, which we're excited about, but just like the one-offs, like the return or the one where they become kids. Yeah. This little piggy, like they're all this season.
So what I think is so great about this season specifically is like it is just, it's not filler. I would never call it that, but it is, the stakes are so much lower.
Yes.
For this season specifically, where like we just got off of multiple planetary destruction plots. Mm-hmm. Planetary takeovers, deaths of characters.
Right, invasions left and right.
Yes, and now it's just like, hey, what happens if Wonder Woman's a pig?
Exactly. This season, from what I recall, feels like that last season of BTOS, where we had done so many stories, but then it was like, well, what's the weird version of this we can do? Like, what happens when Harley tries to, go straight? Or here's this weird twist on this character we would not have seen coming. This feels like that, but for all the Justice League. It's like the big crazy stuff's out of the way, and now it's just like, oh, what's this weird one-off adventure we can go have?
Yeah, and it's great for both the viewer and kind of for the characters, where like we know what the core League members are capable of.
Yeah.
But now we get to see like we're growing with the new roster, where they're working their way up to planetary destruction.
Right.
They're still on the floor, especially with Green Arrows, we're going to talk about in a second. They're helping the little people.
Yeah. It's fun.
Yes, not just under 5'5" people. People on the ground floor.
Not talking at all from experience there, are you, Cameron? Nope. Not in the slightest.
Had enough pats on my head in my life to become a supervillain myself.
Well, would it make you feel any better if I confessed here on the air that I'm actually not 6 foot?
Yes, it would.
I am 5'11" and 3/4. I just round up.
Yes, you monster.
Also, this is why I have such tall hair now.
Is it really?
It really is. Or at least the tall hair helps.
I mean, I did have a phase where I would wear my hat as tall as I could, as far back on my head as I could, to make it look slightly taller.
Should we get you a top hat you could wear around?
Oh, I mean, there is have you seen the Doug Dimmadome joke that's been going around since mid-quarantine?
Remind me.
There was a group of college kids. You remember Doug Dimmadome?
Yeah, the owner of Dimmadome? Yes, you beat me to it.
A bunch of college kids. It was either 2019 or 2020. They built his hat.
Oh, yeah.
His 100,000 gallon hat as tall as they could, where they just kept getting PVC pipe and stacking it on top of each other, where it got a world record for being like the world's tallest hat.
My God.
And it was something like 60 something feet. They built it up.
And they could wear it on someone's head?
Yeah, he had a bike helmet on that he strapped to his head. And they basically had like handles on the side he had to hold to keep it straight up.
My God. How tall do they get? Do they try to see how tall they can get without needing to do like the extra support work? Like how tall was that roughly? Like when it was
probably like 20 feet.
Okay, yeah, that seems about right. Yeah,
they would like stand next to a building to show how many floors high the hat was.
That's fucking brilliant. I'm glad someone made such productive use of their quarantine time.
Yes, and I'm jealous I didn't think of it first.
Honestly, yeah, I'm kind of surprised. Well, I mean, one would have thought that this would have been like the best time to catch up on episodes, because like what else did we have to do? Turns out a shitload, apparently.
Yeah. But a lot of self-reflective work.
Exactly. Yeah. Instead, we choose right when the world reopens and we can go do things on our weekend. Like, oh, we should do that podcast again that we haven't done.
Yeah.
In 3 months. But it is good to be back.
Yes. Good to see you.
Good to see you as well. Yes. As the listeners are well aware, you and I do not socialize at all.
Not once.
Nope. Have not seen each other since that other episode recorded some months ago. Prior to that, it had been over a year.
Yes. And what a blissful time it was.
I know you're just trying to eventually like kill me and take over the podcast.
No. You do far too much for me to burden on myself.
I'm a necessary evil.
Yes.
Yes, that's all I've ever wanted to be in life.
Yeah.
Yeah, I've achieved it. All right. Well, shall we dive into our episodes here?
Let's do it.
Very
Let's
beginning.
initiate ourselves.
Yes. Ooh, very good. Yeah.
you.
So we are starting off with Initiation, the first episode in Justice League Unlimited, our last series. Our last series.
But it's the best one.
It is the best one. Very bittersweet. So in this one, Green Lantern declines an offer to join the newly expanded Justice League, and then he catches a ride back to Earth and gets caught up in a mission with Green Lantern, Captain Atom, and Supergirl to stop a giant nuclear-powered robot.
Yes.
Yeah.
Slightly racist robot.
Is it?
I mean, it was built to defend themselves from, quote, the foreigners.
I'm not sure how to respond to that, to be perfectly honest.
I mean, it was, I'm looking at it through current day lens, not
Okay.
2004 lens.
Oh my God, that's right. This was 2004.
Mm-hmm.
What a fucking throwback. Yeah, I mean, they go to the country of Chiang Mai, and they're like the military wants nothing, doesn't want them to be there, which I thought was kind of interesting. That they actually kind of initially listened to them. They're like, okay, you guys don't want us here. Well, I guess we'll leave you be.
Yeah, well, I mean, I think it does make sense for where we were in Justice League, where they're still the heroes, but they're kind of still on thin ice. It's we want to respect the law first. If they don't want us there, we're not going to be there.
Oh, yes. I'm trying to remember like what happened over the course of the second season of Justice League.
We'll also just compare it to Superman at the start of Justice League.
That's true.
Where he's still kind of seen as the villain to a lot of people.
Yeah, he has to earn back their trust.
And so they, don't want to step on any toes.
Yeah.
When it comes to protecting people.
Yeah, that makes sense. Now, before we get like really into the meat of it, though, I have to ask you, what do you think of our new intro?
Oh my God.
Our new theme?
Oh my God, are you kidding me?
Our new watchtower? Our new javelin? What are our thoughts?
One of the javelins, incredible, everything. The theme song gave me so much energy when I listened to it this morning.
Yeah, it like I forgot just what glorious pump up music that is.
It's beautiful. I should make it my alarm clock.
Oh, that's a good idea. Wait, but would you tire of it then?
Never.
Okay.
Never. My alarm clock has been, for the past year and a half, has been the theme song from Cats Don't Dance. And so I think it's about time I transition to something else.
You know what? You know what I have not missed? Or no, I have missed, excuse me. I have very much missed your ability to out-Cameron yourself on a regular basis on this podcast.
Yes. As the sole preacher of Cats Don't Dance.
So the only person on the whole planet that cares.
So much.
Did they ever put it on HBO Max?
No. It's still not on HBO Max. It's not anywhere.
So how do you watch it?
I bought it.
Like the DVD?
I have it on iTunes and I have it on Amazon in case one of the two doesn't let me watch it anymore.
Oh my God. I appreciate your redundancy to make sure that you cannot live in a world where Cats
and I
Don't
still
Dance is
back
available.
home I still have it on VHS.
Oh my God, of course you do.
Yeah. It's a collector's item.
I'm sure. For you and you alone.
Just for me.
Yeah. Well, it's perfect then. Okay, the theme is great. Now, how do you feel about them doing the sort of like Mission Impossible style? We're going to show little clips of the upcoming episode over the intro title sequence.
I forgot that was a thing until episode 2.
Yeah.
I forgot they did that. I love that.
I mostly like it. I felt like, and we'll get to this in episode 2, but I feel like sometimes they can spoil, like they will just spoil things before you even get into the episode. Like we know it's Mongol in the opening of the episode when we haven't actually seen him as a character. Now it's like, what, 30 seconds later into the episode that he's introduced. So I guess it's not that big of a deal.
I think it's built in, it's not always the first thing we see in the episode. There's usually a cold open first.
Yeah.
But I see it as something built for syndication.
Yeah, that makes sense.
It's not meant for first watch. It's meant for people scrolling through channels and be like, oh, it's a JLU episode. I wonder which one it is. And then you see the theme song. It's like, oh, it's this episode. Okay. And then they can choose to watch it or not.
It's also a way to, I mean, it's literally previewing what you're about to watch.
Yeah.
So you're like, oh, this looks action-packed and crazy, and I like these characters. I'm going to keep watching.
Yeah, I love it.
Okay. And then the new Watchtower.
With the disc and the giant laser so Batman doesn't have to sacrifice himself anymore?
Well, haven't gotten there yet.
Sorry.
But yeah, like, what do you think of its overall aesthetic?
I like it. It feels very different. It feels more kind of futuristic.
Yeah.
Than the other Watchtower did.
Because I always remembered like the incomplete ring up at the top, with two big arms going out, and then like the big tower down the middle. I forgot there's like a bunch of shit off on the bottom, like kind of breaking off in like little sections. And I forgot there's a bunch of little satellite facilities too. Like the thing I had not remembered, and they show a lot of it in this first episode, is how much activity there is around it. There's these little satellite facilities. There's ships constantly going in and out of it. We get at least, I think, one shot or like one scene of some of the staff that now work on the Watchtower, which did not exist in the previous iteration. It was literally just the 7 of them.
Yeah, all funded by Wayne Corps.
Yeah, exactly.
No, I think there's a unique feeling of it where like everything is a little scattered and it doesn't feel complete. And I think that is a good theme for them. We're never fully done.
Right.
There's always more work to be done.
No, that makes sense. Yeah, and I mean, I guess it makes sense too. Like the whole point of this is that they have expanded. Like the scope and scale of everything has just been exponentially increased. You know, Superman even says something more or less to that same effect, right? Of like, you're here because the world needs us now more than ever, and there's so many of us, and we can do everything. I forget what he said.
Yeah, something along those lines.
It's
a good speech.
Just watched it. Here's my really bad paraphrasing of it. But yeah, I do remember liking this design when it came around, and I do like it again. I think I have a bit of a soft spot for the original Javelin, more so than the new one. I mean, not that I don't like the new one. I think it looks great. I think the original one for me was like the Javelin,
right?
The classic Javelin.
Well, now we don't see the Javelin as often now. Obviously,
that's true.
In the first episode,
because
now
they
have Zeta Tech.
Yeah.
Or which version are they using? Is it Zeta Tech?
Or is it
boom tubes?
It's neither.
Cool.
I don't think they ever refer to it specifically as Zeta tubes. I don't remember that ever being a thing until I watched Young Justice.
Yeah, because Zeta does come from not Canamoans. What's the little aliens that speak German?
What?
The aliens that
in Young Justice?
Yes.
They speak German?
They do.
I don't remember.
Not on the show. In the comics, they're German.
Oh, okay.
Aliens.
I was like, where is this all coming from?
It's a weird side story where you learn that German is actually like a galactic language.
Oh, that's kind of fun.
Yeah.
Well, I mean, it comes from, is it Ran?
Yes.
Yeah, because Adam Strange, right? Adam Strange uses Zeta Tech to like teleport to and from Earth.
Yes.
Okay, so it comes from the planet Ran. Ran?
Yeah, because it's the Ranians.
That's right.
Yeah, his girlfriend is like one of the Ranian royalty.
That's right. Okay. Things were vaguely coming in.
What are their fucking names?
I don't remember.
I just watched Bad Batch, so I can only think of
the Kaminoans.
Yes.
Or is it the Kaminoans?
Kaminoans.
Kaminoans?
Yeah.
Okay, I don't know.
I'm not a fan.
Cameron knows nothing about Star Wars.
Nothing.
Or Survivor.
My Star Wars blanket.
Or Survivor. Yeah, I just noticed you have a Rise of Skywalker blanket.
No, it's all of the movies.
Yeah, but it ends in Rise of Skywalker. Like you got this when Rise of Skywalker came out.
Yeah, because I did the 9-movie marathon.
That's right. I forgot you did that. I'm sorry. I'm sorry that I forgot. I'm sorry that you did it.
Yeah. Well, I only watched a couple of them because we watched 9 together in our wonderful experience.
It's awful.
When the theater lost control of its patrons.
Yeah. Well, the theater was broken for an hour and a half.
Yeah.
What was I gonna say? Oh yeah, I don't remember the name of those little aliens. But yeah, so they just have general teleporter technology. Like I think it's just their version of like Star Trek stuff. I don't remember them ever naming it specifically. And Boom Tube is obviously not exclusive to Apocalypse because it's Apocalypse and New Genesis. I think it's the same thing. But that's Mother Box technology.
Correct.
Whereas this is just, I don't know, Batman now it's a teleporter technology. So but like what I think is interesting is their entry point into the story, right? Because obviously the league's expanded and there's all these new characters. I thought it was really cool that they chose Green Arrow to be like a point of view character because this is his episode. Like it's almost entirely from his point of view. He has the most substantial character arc, and kind of the big lingering dramatic question through all of it is, will he end up joining the league or not? And I think that was smart to have him be our I think there's a more like specific term, like our entry point character in this world. Like they always do that. Like what is this craziness? I don't know what's happening
Yeah,
here.
the perspective character.
Thank you. Yeah, it's like Harry Potter. It's like, oh, explain to me, Harry Potter, what all this magic is. I don't know what it is, but / explain it all to the audience. Like it makes sense they would pick Green Arrow as like this one holdout who just didn't really want to join because he's like, I'm here for the little guy. Like when we meet him, he's preventing just a general robbery in a grocery store. Like he's not the guy who goes up against these big freaking monsters. He even tells Batman as much. It's like, yeah, I'm here to, I don't battle monsters. I'm here to save the little guy. And to Batman's point, it's like, well, those big monsters have a tendency to step on the little guy.
And it's such a great parallel because there is always that parallel that happens between Green Arrow and Batman.
Yeah.
And I think it was so important for him to have that conversation with Batman because in the start of Justice League, that was Batman's perspective.
Yeah, he's like, why?
Like, you Superman, you are the Superman. You do the galactic stuff.
Yeah.
I'm here for Gotham and only Gotham, and anything that comes out of Gotham is not my problem anymore.
Exactly. Other side of the border, no longer my issue.
Yeah, once you jump the river, I'm gone. I have a perfect square map. It is 24 by 24 miles.
Yeah, it does make sense that it would be Batman talking to Green Arrow. Because also, I mean, there are other heroes in the league who don't have powers, but they are parallels a lot through the comics. They're kind of parallels here too, like to your point of that was Batman's perspective, and now he's the one having to convince someone to do the thing that he didn't want to do in the first place. Because he's realized, oh, this is actually really freaking necessary.
Mm-hmm.
Like, what would have happened if the Justice League didn't exist when the Thanagarians invaded, for example, or something like that? Like, he's like, no, we need to be here. We need to do this. And also, I like that he understands the value someone like Green Arrow brings. Of like, you need to keep us grounded. Because he's no longer the grounded one. He's been doing this for long enough that he's literally like up amongst the gods.
Mm-hmm.
And he needs someone else to step in and be like, guys, tone it down a little bit.
Yeah, and I think that goes really well with the people chosen for the mission that he's brought on, where they're going to investigate some nuclear movement activity happening.
Moving nuclear spike.
Yeah, and so it's the core team is Green Lantern, Captain Atom, and Supergirl with Green Arrow kind of tagging along.
Yeah.
You have a super strong alien, you have a government shell, and then a veteran.
Yes.
And Green Arrow is still the one that has to save the day. So
Yes.
he's kind of seeing that, like, oh, even the best, like, it's the strategist, the muscle, and the experience can't always do it.
Right.
Like, I still have importance here.
Yeah. Well, and I mean, also one thing worth noting too is they didn't just bring Captain Atom because he's like, what did you call it? Government shell or shill?
A shell. Yeah.
Shell. Also, he can absorb nuclear energy. There is a very good practical reason for him to be a part of this. It's like, okay, yeah, like I'll lead. Supergirl can punch you when it needs to be punched, but also you can literally suck away the thing that we're trying to clear away.
Yeah, I guess that is his actual purpose.
Yeah, he has a very good reason to be there. But I mean, it was interesting because part of Green Arrow's arc is not only discovering whether he wants to be a part of a team, but within that is, can he work with someone who he is like very ideologically opposed to? He even tells Captain Atom, like, I'm pretty sure you were what I like protested against in college, which I thought was just like a kind of a fun line. But even just watching them kind of develop very quickly, it's a 23-minute episode, but a respect over the course is fun to watch. Like that's a step towards him going like, oh, I could do this. I could find a way to make it work with these guys who I have nothing in common with, seemingly.
Yeah, which is great when it suddenly becomes the B story, because now the A story in the last 30 seconds is, oh, I want to sleep with Black Canary.
I mean, fair. Fair.
And that is the only story we see from this episode.
I mean, that's
Green
actually
Arrow.
true. That's most of the rest of his like screen time is him just basically
trying to court Black Widow or Black Canary.
Black Canary. Yeah, I mean that was like, yeah, I think he had already agreed. I think we can confidently say that after he saves the day, he shoots the carbon cooling rod or whatever it is through the tiny little hole in the front of the giant robot's stomach to extinguish the nuclear flame. Bunch of words just happened there.
Yep.
I think he had already kind of realized, okay, I do bring something of value, but there were two little icings on top. One was I'm sure, fantastic showers up on
just public showers.
I did think about that. Yeah, it's
in
like
the middle of the room.
It was like the hallway off of the main chamber. It just opens, and it's not like he walked into a locker room. He just walked out in a towel. One, not complaining, but two, why?
Yeah.
Why design it this way?
Maybe it's not the shower. Maybe it's like the sauna area.
Still doesn't make any sense.
And it's like you wear your swim trunks. It's like the public sauna, but there were like multiple rooms, so it couldn't have been like the public one.
You would think there would be, I don't know, if someone were like mid to lower on the whole tower, there would be a whole floor dedicated like all different kinds of gyms, right? Like normal human gyms, like superhuman gyms, like where, I don't know, Superman and Supergirl can go to bench press and stuff like that. A target range where Green Lantern can just shoot laser beams and not create constructs.
Yep.
Like, yeah, obviously, full locker room, sauna, massage parlor. I would think.
Of
I'm
course.
sure they have a full.
Well, like, that's where
spa.
Elongated Man is.
Very true. If Plastic Man were in this continuity, I don't think he is, right? I don't think we ever see Plastic Man.
We see Elongated Man
Right.
in the opening, but I don't think Plastic Man.
I think Plastic Man was one of those characters like Blue Beetle that there was some like contractual rights things they couldn't include. But like, were Plastic Man to exist in this universe, that's where he would be.
Oh, of course.
Obviously.
Well, so that's
disguising himself as a towel.
That's you see what? That's where I think the hallway showers came from. So I bet every core member got to design the new watchtower.
Okay.
And everyone gets one contribution.
Oh no.
And then they're like, yeah, we should have like this central work area where everyone can kind of see what's going on. So there's no like privacy issues and no one thinks that there's like a secret going on behind them.
The first open floor plan office.
Yeah, then Flash comes in and he's like, what if we had public showers? Like, what? He's like, you said I get one contribution to this, and I want a shower on every hallway.
It's either that or the writers have been watching a lot of Ally McBeal with their co-ed bathroom and like, hey, let's just do this, but a shower version.
Yeah.
On the watchtower.
Perfect. Also in Boy Meets World, which I always thought was very unique.
Wait, when in Boy Meets World? Was that in the
When they go to college.
When they go to college? Oh, okay. Oh, I think you recall
because
this.
Corey's very uncomfortable.
Oh, that makes sense.
Yeah.
Yeah. There's a lot of those later seasons I forgot. The only thing I remember is like for some reason after they get married, they're moved to another part of the dorms because they're married.
Yeah, that's pretty common in colleges. There's like the marriage area. The married couples. Did you not have that in your college?
No.
You went to a coastal college. I went to the Midwest.
Okay, well I went to a coastal Jesuit college.
Yes, that is also yes.
Okay, wait, I mean to be fair, I guess was there one building where you could No, I don't remember I don't think there was any on-site housing where you could have a co-ed room. Again, Catholics.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
Yeah.
We had the normal dorms were kind of at the top of the hill, and
Yeah.
where all the freshmen had to stay, and then halfway down the hill were like 3 kind of like condominiums.
Okay.
Where it was like that was like the married people's area. It was like the family dorms.
Huh.
Yeah.
Fucking blew my mind. I thought that was just a fake thing they did on TV.
Nope.
That's But to your point, coastal college. Yeah.
Yeah.
Middle of Silicon Valley. So, but yeah, you're right. I think ultimately it's Black
It's the
Canary.
Flash is doing.
It's the Flash is doing. It's Black Canary that ultimately like convinces Green Arrow.
Yeah.
To jump on board. I mean, I'm trying to think if I had a lot about the actual like plot itself. I mean, the plot's fairly thin overall. It's basically just there as like a showcase for like the different characters. There's a couple little moments that I really liked. I loved they had the boxing glove, the Green Arrow boxing glove
the
arrow.
net and the boxing glove.
Yeah.
Just beautiful.
Like I remember when Arrow came on and like he had, I want to say it was like some sort of stun arrow. And someone made a joke of like, oh, like, why do you have that? It's like, well, it's better than having a boxing glove. They make a joke about it. And then later on, at one point, he actually, I think it was when they had Wildcat in the show, he literally like puts an arrow inside a boxing glove, then shoots it to knock someone out. And like, I get it. That was supposed to be like a much more grounded, gritty universe at that time. Whereas this was, they could be as fun as playful as they want. They're like, fuck it. Like within the first 30 seconds, boxing glove arrow.
Yeah.
Yes.
Well, I think that's so important as well because for me, and I'm sure for you, this was our first introduction to every B and C tier hero.
Oh, same.
This was the only version I had of Green Arrow in my head until the Arrow series.
Yeah, I guess it'd be the same for me too.
Well,
yeah.
the Smallville one, but that is...
Oh, well, yeah, Justin Hartley era.
And I think that is actually a good middle point between this Green Arrow and Arrow.
Yeah. Well, because both TV versions of Arrow were just Batman and everything but name.
Yes.
Essentially. I mean, to be fair, the character is very, very similar. But at least this one, they're like, fuck it, we're going full Errol Flynn. He's got the goatee. He's got the hat. He's got those weird, like, half arm sleeves.
Yeah, the braces.
Yeah, going on. I guess it's...
But no, that's what archers wear, though.
Okay, I don't know anything about archery.
It's so when you pull the string back, it doesn't, like, tear up your forearm.
Well, that just makes sense.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, they're braces.
Okay, I don't know what this is.
Clearly you haven't played enough RPGs in your life.
Very, very few. Not my bag. I liked a little moment. So after GL takes a full-on blast from Nuclear Bot, which I don't know if it has a name or not.
We can make one.
Nuclear Bot.
Cool.
Okay, there we go. That was simple. And he's in the recovering on the javelin. Did you catch?
He calls out She-Ra's name.
Yes. Which, like, is interesting. One, because obviously it's a very subtle way, to remind us what just happened to him. But also it feels weird because then, like, the next moment he's completely lucid and has a very, like, grounded conversation with everyone.
Yeah, and all three respond to She-Ra.
Yeah.
They're all like, oh, did he call me?
What, you? That doesn't sound like any of us here? Oh, okay, great.
Yeah. Is that the nickname you're giving me? I'll take it.
I don't know. It was just kind of an odd little moment. I like to put it in there. But, I mean, I like this episode because it sets up, this is the structure of this season in particular. It's, hey, it's going to be kind of like a lot of one-off missions primarily, and we're going to have a whole cast of characters, some of which you're familiar with, some of which you're not, and just go along and have a fun time. Mm-hmm. It was great.
It's great.
I love it.
There's a couple little holes.
You like the big one in the middle of the robot?
Yeah, it's like the tiny one that's perfect arrow size. Yeah. Well, I'm sure it also would fit a perfect batarang.
Probably would. Mm-hmm. Also, somehow that one rod was enough to extinguish him?
Yeah, half of a rod.
That's true. It broke. Wait, but what were some of the holes he had in issues with?
Captain Atom, being made of nuclear energy, could not get close enough to the robot to, like, touch it, but Supergirl could punch it very easily with no problems.
Fair point. Mm-hmm. Yeah, I was going to be like, well, maybe. No, you're right. It doesn't make any sense.
Yeah, that's literally his substance. And if it's keeping him safe on the inside, why is it not also keeping him safe on the outside?
Yeah, that would have made sense.
Mm-hmm. But I did like that, like, you see him blow up. Like, there are still some stakes in this. Like, first episode, we see a character basically die.
Yeah. Well, Superman even makes a comment in his big grand speech. Like, you're all heroes who are here who are willing to pay the price, possibly ultimate price. Mm-hmm. And there's a moment, at least in this, when we think Captain Atom has in fact died. Yeah. But don't worry, they have big space vacuums.
Yeah. Well, of course they do.
That's right. They have everything. Mm-hmm.
But also, I feel like Green Arrow or Green Lantern could just, like, make a little bubble.
He probably could have.
Yeah.
But he wasn't there at the time. Remember, he was incapacitated on the ship.
Yeah. Well, I mean, there was time between them getting back to the ship and them scooping up the space light and space dust and putting it back into a suit.
That's fair, yeah.
Mm-hmm. So I have two questions for you. We can take this in two directions right now.
Okay.
I would like to pitch an idea for this series.
Okay.
Since it's a bunch of one-off missions with a bunch of characters we're not super familiar with at the moment.
Sure.
I would like us to play the role of Martian Manhunter after we see the mission and see who we would send.
Who we would have picked.
Yes, and if Martian Manhunter was in fact correct with his team.
Okay.
Or we can go over Captain Atom's history.
I mean, can you do a very short version of Captain Atom's history?
I can.
While I bring up the roster of the full JLU, which I don't remember off the top of my head and would need to know to answer your other question?
Yes.
Okay.
So the reason I call him a government shell.
Do you mean shell or shill?
Shill.
Okay.
The one where he's like a puppet.
Shill.
Shill, yes.
Right?
Yeah. But he's technically a shell of nuclear energy.
Well, I mean, yes, he is a shell, and not for the oil company Shell.
Right.
Yes.
But
yes,
partially.
A shill is learning time. Shill is an accomplice of a hawker, gambler, or swindler who acts as an enthusiastic customer to entice or encourage others. I don't know if he's... So I guess by that definition, maybe not quite a shill.
Wait till I read the definition, or his backstory.
Okay.
And clearly, he's changed since this point.
Yes.
Nathaniel Adam was a former U.S. military officer during the Vietnam War, where he was framed for war crimes and sentenced to death.
Oh, okay. Wow.
And it was overseen by the future villain, Colonel Wade Elling.
Okay. Eiling,
thank you. To avoid his sentence, Adam was offered a chance of freedom if he participated in a military experiment with a very slim chance of survival.
Oh.
And if he survived, he'd be granted a presidential pardon. This experiment is insane, Chris. The experiment involved going into a crashed alien spaceship and sit in the hole while they exploded a nuclear bomb underneath it to see if the hole was strong enough to survive a nuclear bomb.
Wow, okay.
Mm-hmm. So he sat in the hull of a ship while a bomb exploded under him. Against the odds, he survived, but the combination of nuclear energy with the alien tech fused with his body, which creates the outer shell, makes him energy, and flung him 20 years in the future. Now, 1986, when he was created, he returns to a world where former Colonel Eiling is now General Eiling. He wipes away any former offer of freedom and instead doubles down on the treason with now accusations of murder. Eiling blackmails Adam into being a government-controlled hero, Captain Atom.
Wow. There's a lot that happens
A
there.
lot of shit that he went through.
So I think I maybe had read up his backstory once, probably like 20 years ago when this episode came out. Beyond that, the only origin I knew of his was the one from New Frontier, where he is inside spoiler alert, I suppose, for New Frontier, but he's inside the center, the alien, when they set up the nuclear bomb, and like that's enough. Like that combination leads him to becoming Captain Atom.
Yeah, it's kind of a midpoint between like this and like Mr. Manhattan.
Right. You mean
Dr. Manhattan.
Dr. Manhattan, yeah. Please. He's
Sorry.
Sorry.
No, I'm thinking of the male. What is the thing called? Pageant.
Mr. Universe?
Yes, but
Okay.
it's the much smaller version of Mr. Manhattan.
This is the local one.
Yeah.
But I love that so many of these heroes have to have, it's actually two things, right? It's like the Flash. Oh, it's chemicals and lightning. Captain Atom, it's alien spaceship and a nuclear bomb.
Yeah. Oh, and there's a much wider story going on that I didn't try and dig into, where his Nathaniel Adams' wife obviously left him because they thought he was dead for 20 years, and is now married to General
Eiling.
Eiling.
Of course. It's always that. It's
Yep.
always that.
And so he's trying to win his wife back while clearing his name, while also kind of hooking up with his main villain, who he then marries later once he gets his freedom.
Classic Count of Monte Cristo dynamic happening
Yes.
here. Classic. That's pretty ridiculous, though, in terms of origins.
It's a lot. It's a lot to take in.
I'm glad they didn't try to get into that here.
Yeah.
At all. I could have maybe gone for like a line. Like, oh, how'd you get this way? It's like, well, there was an alien spaceship, a nuclear bomb, and Green Arrow's like, I'm good.
Yeah. No, thank you.
That's enough. Thank you. Supergirl, you came here on a ship? Great. That's nice and simple. We'll go with that.
Yeah. You're Fung in the past? You're actually older than your cousin? I don't want to know about that.
Exactly. Also, he's not your cousin?
Yeah.
Yes. In
But
this
he's
version?
you, kind of?
Yeah, right? I don't understand. Okay, your other question of who would you pick? Okay, I'm gonna let you go first because I think I have to think about this. I didn't find the roster. I got too caught up.
It's a big story. It's weird.
It is, yeah.
I've also not put too much thought into this so far.
Brilliant.
It was more the question I was proud of.
It's a good question. It's a very good question.
Captain Atom is a very smart choice. I think I'd still send him.
Yes.
Because he can absorb nuclear matter.
Again, probably the most important person to be there.
Yeah.
Yes.
I think once we knew, because all he was going off of was moving nuclear energy. So he couldn't know that it's actually a giant robot that people can't get close to.
Right. Okay, that's true. Yeah, they're just checking out some weird nuclear fallout.
They're only sending Supergirl to, like, give her experience in the field.
Right, to train her up.
So I understand that, and I appreciate that, Martian Manhunter. You're thinking of the team. But maybe not the best choice.
Who else would I throw in there?
Firestorm. Do we see Firestorm in this? I don't think we see Firestorm in this series.
We don't.
Because Firestorm is actually like how like Green Arrow and Batman are like friends, but also like very deep rivals. That is how Firestorm and Captain Atom are in the comics.
Oh, that kind of makes sense.
Yeah.
Yeah. I think he's another one of those characters that for whatever reason never popped up in here. I'm pretty sure.
I don't remember ever seeing him.
Maybe Steel. Steel could have been good.
Stars and Stripes. Because why not?
Who would have been the most useless person they could have sent?
Wildcat.
Yeah, Wildcat.
I'm gonna punch him.
Yeah.
No, you can't, Ted.
Wildcat, the Creeper, Vigilante.
Yeah, I was shocked to see the Creeper.
Crimson Knight.
Crimson Knight has a sword.
I suppose that's true. That's something going for him.
Etrigan couldn't really do much.
I mean, Etrigan would have been fun to have just because he would have been a total a-hole for the whole thing.
Yeah.
It would have been fun to see him verbally spar against Green Arrow. I'm looking through
But in rhyme.
Oh, of course.
Yeah.
I'm looking through the roster here. Yeah, and no Firestorm. But there's a hero called Wave Rider who can manipulate the time stream.
Oh.
Don't know what that's supposed to do. Yeah. I mean,
I think for what we had, this was probably the team. I mean, like you could have done like Superman instead of Supergirl. Right. Flash could have done something, I'm sure. But if we're limiting it to like one core member per group, I think Green Lantern is a decent. If he wasn't taken out immediately, he would have been very helpful in this mission. Where he could have just like made a construct to go in the hole.
Any of the rest of them would have been taken out immediately.
Yeah.
Too. It's like I saw I saw a great meme recently, and it was of Luke in the Return of the Jedi when he's like writhing on the ground, being electrocuted by the Emperor, and it was just every character in the first season of Justice League.
After one punch.
Every League member. It's very true.
Mm-hmm.
All right. Any other thoughts on Initiation here?
I think we covered everything.
All right.
It's a beautiful introduction.
It is. I think it's a great way to start off the series. I think it's just a perfect way to get a sense of what's going to come down the line for us. All right. So up next, we have episode 2 for the man who has everything.
Yeah. So everything we just set up in that first episode and all the threads we're setting up for the rest of the series, forget about it.
Yeah.
They don't matter in this episode. This
No.
this episode hurts. It's beautiful.
Were you emotionally prepared for this?
No. I never am. I remember it being longer in my head.
It's short. It's very, very short.
Spend very little time in the dream world.
Yeah. So to catch anyone up who's not familiar with what this episode is, Batman and Wonder Woman visit the Fortress of Solitude for Superman's birthday. Aww. And discover he's been rendered comatose by the Black Mercy, a telepathic plant that subdues its victims in a fantasy that fulfills their heart's desire.
Yes.
All of this as a gambit for Mongol to take out Superman, who he sees as the Earth's only true defender, and so he can just take over the planet and kill everyone.
Mm-hmm.
But the most, I think, interesting part of this is the fantasy that Superman's dumped into, because he's back on Krypton.
Yes.
There's a lot of interesting stuff in there.
There's a lot to take in.
Yeah.
Because before watching this episode, I was playing it in my head of like his fantasy doesn't involve Lois, but it kind of does in a weird way, or his like true dream.
Right. Yeah. He has a wife whose name I forget, but it's
Lawana.
Thank you. Yes. It's called
mix. This is kind of weird for a man married to Lois. Lawana is a mixture of Lois and Lana.
To be fair, in this universe, he's not married to Lois.
I said practically married.
Oh, okay. Yeah. It is kind of a weird. It's basically like the character is voiced by Dan Delaney, who of course voices Lois. So it's basically the look of Lana with the voice and personality of Lois.
Yes.
Which is a weirdest kind of combination.
Yeah, but that's Cal. That's his fantasy. That's his dream.
I mean, maybe the nice way of looking at this is just that Clark is such a good guy. He's
couldn't pick.
He's such a good guy that in his heart he will always love Lana a little bit too. And so in his truest heart desires, he could find a way to be with both of them.
Mm-hmm.
Plus, I feel like the very final episode of JLU, we see Superman go on like a picnic date with Lois, but he basically doesn't have an ongoing relationship with her once he's in the Justice League, as far as we see.
Right.
So I don't even know if they're dating or not.
I feel like we get like moments from what I remember.
I just
Isn't
remember
there the
that
episode
one.
where they're stuck in the dream worlds, where something happens with Lois?
Oh, from the last season?
Yeah.
With Dr. Destiny?
Yes.
Was that when he was worried he had the fantasy that he was killing everyone?
Yeah,
He
and
got
they
too
were
powerful?
together there.
I thought she just walked up to him in the office and his heat vision went off and he roasted her.
Oh, is that what it was?
I think so.
I don't remember.
I don't remember either. I mean, we forget everything immediately, plus add 3 months.
Mm-hmm. And there's a big subject that we've done a good job avoiding so far, but I think needs to be brought up for the time we're recording this. And we've had ample conversation about this. It's a very sensitive topic for the world right now, and it is Batman's sexual life.
Heroes don't do that?
Heroes don't do that. And we had a long conversation about Superman.
We did. I think we came to the conclusion that Superman does, but maybe with slight hesitation.
Yes. With more force from the other partner.
Yeah, he's like, I'm slightly uncomfortable by this, but sure, I'll go for it.
Yeah, Lois wouldn't let him not.
No.
Is basically what we decided.
Also, just be a good sexual partner.
Yeah.
Yeah, but it's a fucking effort.
If you saw Zack Snyder's tweet,
I did.
Exactly how it should be.
I did. The heroes don't do that. The stupidest.
It's hilarious.
Stupidest fucking reason.
Mm-hmm.
Heroes are selfish lovers, is basically what they're saying.
Which I think is so funny that Batman is the one in the center of the controversy because they spent decades trying to get rid of the idea that Batman was in a relationship with Robin. Decades to wipe that from people's memory.
Didn't even think about that, and you're 100% right. They introduced the character of Aunt Harriet on the Batman TV show as a way to show that there's no way they're gay. They live with their aunt.
Yeah.
Have you ever seen the animated sequels to the 60s TV show?
I've not.
They're actually pretty decent. They before Adam West passed away, he returned, as did Burt Ward and Julian O'More to voice Batman, Robin, and Catwoman respectively. And what's fun is there's a little bit of like nod and wink going on in that, where in that version, Aunt Harriet's always like, "Oh, are you boys going fishing again? Huh?
That's amazing. That's adorable.
Okay. Most important question though: does Adam West's Batman?
Oh, of course.
Yeah, I think he does. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. He's very worried about being a concerned citizen.
Mm-hmm.
So yes.
Yeah.
For the greater good.
Well, this is a poor comparison, but it's the first comparison that went in my head of anything that Austin Powers would do, Adam West would do.
That is really accurate way of putting it. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Yep. You're 100% right.
Yeah, that feels like a weird comparison, but a weirdly accurate comparison.
Yeah. Oh God, heroes don't do that. So fucking dumb.
It's hilarious.
I get the sense that Kal-El in this fantasy reality would.
Yes.
Yes, I think so.
Just going back to Target.
Right. Yeah.
It's interesting. In his dream world, he also still lives on a farm.
Yeah.
I think that's great.
I mean, I think that does kind of make sense. Like, I think that is ultimately, like, at the end of the day, he's a farm boy.
Mm-hmm.
Like, he left Smallville because he knew that he had a greater purpose on this planet. But it does go to show that at the end of the day, like, he doesn't really want to be a hero. He does it because he knows he's the best person to do it.
Yeah, he has to.
Yeah. But if he had his way, he would just live a really simple life on the farm.
Yeah, and it's great that even like Van El, his son, brings that up. He's like, why don't we live here? Like, Kandor is awesome.
Yeah.
And there's a lot of great parallels between Kandor and Metropolis.
Mm-hmm.
And also Kandor being the only named city that anyone knows from Krypton.
Yeah, honestly, I couldn't name one if I tried.
No.
Nope.
And I only know it because of the bottled city of Kandor, as I'm sure everyone knows.
Yeah,
It's
that's
the famous storyline.
Yeah.
And it was, whenever I remember there was a Big Bang Theory when I was still into Big Bang Theory. They bring it up in like the second or third episode.
Mm-hmm.
And I was like, I know what that means. I get that reference.
I get that reference.
Which is like the best part of old Big Bang Theory.
I mean, eventually became the worst part of it because all they did was just make references and not jokes.
Yeah.
But, you know, that's neither here nor there. But yeah, so he's a farm boy. I love that Brainiac exists as like that universe's version of Alexa.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, it's Alexa Alfred.
Exactly. his little Brainiac robot. Now, it was unclear if everyone has a Brainiac or it's just them that have a Brainiac.
I would imagine, well, because isn't it that, not Jor-El, who's his dad?
Jor-El.
Oh, it is Jor-El, okay. Isn't it Jor-El created Brainiac as a way to preserve Kryptonians' like heritage?
I think that is this version, yeah.
So it would make sense for like the House of El to all have kind of Brainiacs.
Yeah, he's just like, I guess it's a good way of thinking about it is because they even make a point of when they go into the city to meet up with Jor-El, he says like, oh yeah, like because Clark is starting to see cracks in the facade, like the planet is literally shaking and no one seems reacting to it.
Mm-hmm.
And Jor-El even says, oh, this, like, you remember years ago I had this theory that Krypton was going to explode and I was wrong. I had to work my way back up to rebuilding my reputation. So I guess we can assume that this is like that story if it had continued on without Krypton blowing up. So Brainiac did exist in its a very nascent form back then.
Yeah.
And just somehow they prevented it from going evil.
Yeah.
Or they didn't. I don't know.
I like that he's also just like a little snarky.
Yeah.
It's a very nice, subtle thing where like Luana throws the pillow at him and he just dodges and
I
continues
meant
on
to
with
look
his day.
it up. I think.
The voice of Jor-El, is it the same voice as Pa Kent?
Yeah, no. So the voice of Jor-El is Christopher McDonald, who did voice Jor-El in the original pilot Superman series. Also voiced old Superman in Batman Beyond.
Okay, cool.
But no, I was looking up to see who voiced Brainiac because it sounds a lot like Skeet in the Booster Gold episode.
Yes.
It was the greatest story never told. And that
Great
is,
episode. Oh,
that
I
is a
love
great
Booster
episode.
Gold.
And that voice is Billy West, famous for many things, but probably most famously for Fry on Futurama.
Yes.
And this Brainiac sounded enough like
And
him.
Zoidberg.
And Zoidberg, of course, yeah. And Farnsworth and
Yeah,
like
the
half,
entire cast
half
of
the show.
Futurama.
I thought, wait, is that Billy West? It's not. It's Mike Farrell, who voices also Jonathan Kent. When is Jonathan Kent in this? Doesn't matter.
Yeah, I'm sure we'll see him eventually.
Doesn't matter. But yeah, got a little Brainiac robot in there. We had a little bit of Jor-El. I like the reference to Little Zod.
I don't remember that one.
So Van L accidentally spoils the surprise party they're going to have for Kal-El.
Oh, yes.
And
yes,
the
yes,
mom is like, oh no, like you're mistaken. Like Little Zod's party is next weekend. Like implying that this is the only reference I think ever to Zod. Because we got Jaxer and Mala? Whatever. In this rather than Zod. That's the one reference we get to like Zod, and now he's got some weird little Zod.
Yeah,
I also love the dog's name is Crypto.
of course. It has to be.
It's the only Crypto we get here.
Yeah.
But I mean, it is very sweet though, because like the cracks start forming pretty quickly on. He's like, oh, like he's that moment to realize like he has to say goodbye. And the thing I caught this time that I didn't catch when I saw it years ago is, you know, there's that moment where Crypto is like shit on the floor, and Brainiac goes to clean up. He's like, no. Van L has to do it himself. He has to learn to take responsibility. And the line that he says is, we have to live up to our responsibilities. And I watching this now, knowing where it was going to go, I could see that foreshadowing of like, that's ultimately what he chooses to do is like, this is the life he would want, but he knows he has responsibilities and he has to leave.
Yeah. It's rough, man.
Yeah.
This little monologue with Van L. It's like, I don't think you're real.
I know.
But I remember every
God.
moment. Your birth was the happiest day of my life. I remember you grabbing onto my finger. But it's not real.
It's not real.
Fuck, man.
God. And it's such an intense, like heartbreaking moment. And what I think is so interesting is, you know, obviously it's countered by what's happening back in the real world, which is that Wonder Woman is fighting with Mongol for her life. Like she is outmatched in a way we've kind of never seen her be outmatched before. And Batman is like letting her fight it out because he knows the only way to get out of this is they need Superman.
And he's pleading for Superman.
Yeah.
This is something we've never seen Batman do. Is say please.
Right.
Maybe this Batman wouldn't go down.
Yeah, I think he would. Actually.
Okay.
I think that shows that he probably would. But what I think is so interesting is that in that moment, he recognizes that Superman is the strongest being he knows, not only in terms of the physical strength needed to fight Mongol, but he also recognizes nothing is going to break through the Black Mercy but Superman's own willpower. He's the only one that can get him out of it. And I think it's a really incredible moment that only works because of the history between them, and it just goes to show that Batman does really, really respect and like Clark.
And trust him.
He doesn't know how to express it all the time, but like that, this is one of those moments that shows how much trust Bruce has in Clark, that he knows the only way forward is Superman has to do it. He's actually ceding control to someone else, which he almost never does. It's a great moment.
Yeah. I also love that the three of them all only use their first names with each other.
Oh, yeah.
They
at that
never
point.
use their hero names, which is great.
Yeah, because they're well past it at that point, which is fantastic. Because I think, obviously, the rest of the core knows their secret identities. I think it's assumed that the broader league does not. That it's just those now 6.
Yeah.
/7.
6.5.
6.5. Yeah. That no. But yeah, I mean, I think a lot of people say this, but that moment of Kal-El saying goodbye to his son is like one of the best in all of the DCAU.
Yeah.
It's
and even like
heartbreaking.
like I said, we're only in that world for maybe 5 minutes. But those are emotional 5 minutes.
Did it feel a little bit rushed to you?
I think just because like we hype it up so much in our head, it feels like we see the whole world.
Yeah.
And in the comic, we actually spend a lot more time. So this is based off the 1985 The Man Who Has Everything comic. Yes. Where we spend a lot more time in the dream world, where there's like a whole trial going on, where you see Kara with Jor-El like trying to figure out what's going on in this world. They're like, investigating the tremors.
Oh, okay. So it's not just Clark.
Yeah, he's not the only one that notices it. Yeah.
Oh, okay. I guess that makes a little more sense because in my mind, they got to that point where he realized he had to leave very, very soon. It kind of felt like there wasn't a big moment where he made that realization. It was just kind of like enough little things made him go like, oh yeah, like I don't think you're real and I have to leave. It still works. it definitely still worked, despite maybe feeling a little bit rushed. It's interesting. You talk about how this is adapted. It's adapted from an Alan Moore story.
Yes.
Which this is the only or one of the only adaptations he allowed his name to be included on.
Wow.
And I guess because the writers, the producers actually went to him like, here are the changes we're going to make. And he was okay with them enough that he allowed his name to be attached. He famously has, his name isn't on anything.
Mm-hmm.
Like even the Watchmen movie, the Watchmen TV show, it's, like adapted from, based on the graphic novel. I think this says like co-creator illustrated by Dave Gibbons.
Oh, wow.
Like it just flat out just doesn't include Alan Moore's credit on it because he refuses to be credited on any of these sort of things.
Interesting.
Because he's also a crazy person.
Yeah.
Yeah. Very famously a crazy person.
Yeah, because I've not read the original comic.
I haven't either, yeah.
But from a brief description, from what I've seen, really the only changes they made is they just took away a couple characters.
Yeah, I think they just streamlined it.
Yeah, and there's a much longer sequence of Batman being attacked by the Black Mercy.
Oh, that's right, yeah, because once they get it off Superman, it attaches itself to Batman, and he relives the moment where his parents die, but in this version, for at least a little bit, Thomas is fighting back and beating up on Joe Chill.
Mm-hmm.
Did you catch who voices Joe Chill?
I did not.
Kevin Conroy.
Oh.
Fun little thing there.
Very meta.
No, very meta. But like even that is also heartbreaking too, because like Bruce in a much more subtle, quick way realizes like, oh, he has to let go too, and he has to watch his parents die again.
So you see Thomas just beating the shit out of Joe Chill.
Yeah.
And then Clark calls out to Bruce, and he's like, oh, right, this isn't real. And then the second Joe Chill just like stops getting beat up and shoots his dad.
Yep.
And I'm like, fuck, man. Like, can we not
You just can't catch a break.
one season? Can we not watch
Can't catch a break.
Thomas and Martha get shot?
At least this one's pretty effective.
Yeah.
And short. And I can think there's a little bit of slow-mo. So there's no slow-mo.
There's no pearl dropping.
That's true.
That's the important part.
God. It's happened so many times. Okay, I got a question for you here.
Okay.
So after Superman is released, he goes to like save Wonder Woman and fight Mongol. And the fight gets to the point where like Superman like breaks him through the ground, and they're in that big chamber where they have the two statues of Jor-El and Lara above him. And he looks up and sees the two of them, and like he kind of comes back down to himself and realizes like, all right, like they're the ideals to live up to. I'm still a hero. Do you think if he had like gotten punched into the animal terrarium or something like that instead, he would have gone through and actually killed Mongol at that point?
No, I still think that deep down he would never cross that line.
Okay. This is the only.
But lobotomy though,
They might lobotomize him. It's true. He's down with that. I think this is the first time ever in any of these shows when I've really believed he would do it. Now I'm trying to remember the Paper Town speech is Justice League, right? It's not. We already had the Paper Town speech.
did we?
I can't remember this.
It's with Darkseid. I think it's later because doesn't Darkseid come back in season?
I can't remember. I couldn't remember. I think you're right. I think it is the finale of Justice League Unlimited when it happens, because there is that moment in what's the first episode of season 2 of Justice League when it's him going up against Darkseid and Brainiac when Darkseid shows up to basically say like, hey, I need help, Brainiac's gonna kill all of us, and they end up teaming up. And there's that moment when he really gets into the fight. What's it called? Twilight. There is a point in Twilight when it feels like Superman might actually kill Darkseid.
Mm-hmm.
And I feel like that happened again here. Like I could almost buy it. I could almost buy that he might just go ahead and go there if nothing got in his way. I mean, yeah, I guess he probably wouldn't have done it. Like there was a part of me that's like, he might do it. Like he is so devastated in this moment, he very well could just go ahead and kill Mongol.
Well, we do see him basically like dislocate his jaw, which Mongol just puts back in place.
Yeah, his face is fucked after that fight.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, and then of course Mongol's defeated because Wonder Woman throws the Black Mercy onto him, and then he gets lost in his own fantasy, presumably of world domination.
So there was I'm misremembering this moment, and I think Young Justice. Did we see Black Mercy in Young Justice? I don't think so.
honestly, I can't keep any of these things straight anymore.
Because I remember there's a scene. I don't think it's Black Mercy. I think he's being like mind controlled, probably by one of the Martians, probably by Miss Martian, where they're like it's the about to punch each other big finale where it cuts and you see the villain like cheering that he won, and then you zoom out and you see that it's all in his head.
Oh,
What is that? What is that from?
I think that was somewhere in Young Justice. Yeah, that sounds familiar, but I can't quite.
But I don't think it was Black Mercy, even though we do see Mongol.
I mean, to be fair, there have been a lot of telepathic villains.
Yes, especially in Young Justice.
Yeah, so
I'm sure we'll get 100 emails.
we'll get messages. Blame Cameron, not me. He brought it up. I didn't do it.
Yeah, that's my fault. But that's how I thought this one ended. And so when it didn't,
you see,
like Wonder Woman throws the Black Mercy at Mongol, and then it cuts from there.
Yeah. Well, we get a little bit of audio of what his heart's desire is. And
I mean,
bunch of screaming
before it cuts back to the group shot of them all being happy together. There's that like brief cut to black, and then they're happy, and then I'm like, oh, this is when we see Mongol has won.
Yeah.
But yeah. Okay. Yes.
It's someone else. I know what you're talking about, and I have no idea which one it is.
Yeah, I can't think of it either.
I'm trying to think of other little moments in here. Oh, I love that Batman's just going to give him cash.
It's amazing.
Yeah.
Yes. The two presents are Wonder Woman has found a new flower breed.
Yeah.
Or has created a new breed of rose called the Krypton.
Yeah.
And Bruce gives him money. Because of course he does.
Give him cash.
Of course.
He doesn't know how to interact with humans. He just flat out doesn't. So, like, if you think about it at this point, all of his allies have basically left him, like his own personal allies. So all he has is the League, and like all those allies too, like have this sort of deferential attitude. Superman and Wonder Woman are kind of the only two that like he has peer relationships with.
Well, Zatanna, who we'll see come back in a couple episodes.
Yeah, I guess a little bit of that too. But like, he doesn't know how to have like peer friends.
Right.
Yeah, he only knows how to have children that he puts in danger all the time.
Yes.
Yes.
So it's great you bring that up. I'm going to transition that into some Black Mercy history.
Oh, okay, sure.
So Black Mercy's appeared in a couple comics. I think it originated in the Man Who Has Everything storyline.
Okay.
It is a unique plant. So it is from a living planet known as
Ego.
Mother Mercy.
Okay.
Similar to Ego. It's a planet called Mother Mercy. And it was basically a spore sent out to dying planets as a way to ease their people into having happy days as their last days.
Interesting.
Yes.
Oh, okay.
And it landed on Mongol's homeworld in Sector 2811, which doesn't matter.
Beautiful.
I only know that because it obviously started as a Superman villain thing. It transitioned to a Green Lantern villain tool in the later years. So I just read this comic a couple days ago, Green Lantern and Green Arrow's A Perfect Life, where Mongol 2 has come back to fulfill the deeds of his now dead father, killed by Green Lantern.
Okay.
After he destroyed Coast City. And he infects Green Lantern and Green Arrow with the same plant. So I was going to ask a question, and I'll finish the story, then I'll ask the question again. They're infected, but since it's mainly attached to Hal, the happy world that Arrow sees is the happy world Hal thinks Oliver wants to see. So it's not exactly his perfect world.
Oh, okay.
And so his perfect world is he's just like a happy family man. And it's very weird because his wife just keeps having children.
How?
Oliver's wife.
Oh, Oliver. Okay.
Yeah, so like he's very close with Connor, his oldest, who now takes on the role of Speedy.
Yeah.
But like every page, his wife just has another kid.
Oh my
And
God,
he's up to
really?
like 5 kids when he's like, this doesn't feel right. And they basically like both hear the same like lightning bolt. There's a big thunderstorm going on while Hal's flying with his dad.
Yeah.
And that's what breaks Oliver out, and he can like pull Hal out of it as well.
Oh, okay. So eventually he does get out of it. Why?
Yes.
Why all the kids?
Oh, because like Oliver's trait in the mid 2000s was this like he wanted to spend more time with Connor, but he didn't know how to connect with him.
So his solution was to have more kids, so he has less time to
That's
spend.
what Hal thought Oliver wanted.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, he just wanted a better family.
Okay, got it. Weird.
Yeah, and so that would lead, because when I was watching this episode, my question was like, why can't they call Manhunter to come and like get into Clark's head to like pull him out?
Yeah.
But I think what would happen is we would Martian Manhunter would also just fall under the spell. I think he would he wouldn't see Clark. He would see his perfect world.
Oh,
but through Clark's eyes.
I see. Yeah, because the plant is telepathic.
Yes.
Oh, I see. Yeah, that's very possible. Yeah, that if he tried to go in, he would just get brought back to Mars.
Mm-hmm.
So I think that's more or less what happened with Dr. Destiny. There was one telepathic villain that like took him back.
Yeah, it was Dr. Destiny.
Oh no, it was it was in the enemy, not the enemy below, but the one where Grundy dies.
Okay.
Because they didn't trust. I think I'm conflating things. Doesn't matter.
Yeah.
Doesn't matter.
So the next iteration of the Black Mercy, this is what I thought was really interesting. For me, not for anybody else, only for Green Lantern fans. So post Sinestro Corps War, one of the Yellow Rings is sent to Mongol, who's able to alter the substance that Black Mercy is made of. Mm-hmm. So instead of showing people their like happiest fantasy, it now shows them their greatest fear. And that is what slowly kills them.
Oh,
yeah,
fascinating.
And so before he does that, there's one other person that it latches onto, which I think is interesting, in the segue that I meant to start up but completely forgot about. With the Robin,
naturally,
it latches onto Stephanie Brown.
Oh, okay.
Mm-hmm. And so her fantasy is her living like a happy life with her family, and she's brought into the Blue Lantern Corps, which I think is awesome, while also taking on the role of New Nightwing.
There's so much that just happened in that sentence.
Yes, and then Batman is the one that has to pull her back to reality.
Yeah, back to reality, where I think your dad's a supervillain, you're broken up with your boyfriend Robin, and I think you were pregnant at one point?
Yeah, because she has a son in the comic, and you're about to die in like 4 issues.
That's great. Just great.
It's fine. It's fine.
Yeah.
And there's a couple other people that we've seen get infected, but we don't see their dream worlds.
Like
Aquaman's been infected. Batman's been infected twice. Mm-hmm. And obviously Mongol's been infected. Mongol and Mongol 2 have been infected.
Yeah. It's a plot device, but it's a very effective one.
It's very good.
They do really great work with that concept. And, I guess for me, it kind of reminds me of Over the Edge a little bit, where
very much so.
Obviously it's a fantasy, but the emotional stakes are still real, even if the physical stakes of that world aren't. Like, there is still loss and devastation, and that's very real. And I think that's why it works so well.
Absolutely.
It's a great episode.
Yeah. Well, yeah, because it's canon fantasy.
What?
So like,
okay, it's fantasies that are actually happening in the universe in canon.
Yes.
Oh, okay. I wasn't sure if you were just talking about like someone who just really loves cannons.
Yeah,
a lot. Just like
that's just my. If I had Black Mercy, it would just be me.
Just a cannon
in a World
fantasy.
War II,
Yeah,
like
exactly.
Hall of Weapons.
Cannons everywhere.
I just want to be a pirate.
I
That's
get
what
it.
It comes down to.
I get it. It'd be fun. No, I mean, this is great. And again, I wasn't. I forgot the exact lineup, and I wasn't expecting this to be like right out of the bat. But I mean, again, in the same way that Initiation shows what the general story structure is going to be like, and the general episode structure is going to be like going forward, this episode also shows like, oh yeah, and we're going to get like, if we're not necessarily doing a new character, new story thing, we're going to get real deep with the characters you already know.
Yeah.
And it's going to be like really emotional storytelling.
It's done so well.
That's so good.
And the next time we see this, Wonder Woman turns into a pig.
That's a great episode.
It's a great episode.
Well, we have the episode where they turn into kids first.
Yeah. Well, I just mean like when it's like just the core. I guess it is just the core back then, because Flash is the one that doesn't get turned into a kid and he has to be babysitter, right?
Yeah, I think so.
Yeah, because that was my favorite storytelling device of the early 2000s.
Kids, or the adults get turned into children.
I feel like every channel did that. I know Jackie Chan Adventures did it.
Oh,
I think
that's
the
right.
same
Yeah.
week. I think it was
probably
like a Saturday morning package deal.
like, everyone becomes kids.
Yeah, because Jade has
Screaming
to be
babies.
the
Yeah,
babysitter for baby Jackie.
That's right. That's right. Yeah. But yeah, again, like, what a dumb concept they do such great work with.
So well.
Yeah, fucking Wonder Woman into a pig. It's such a good. I can't wait. It's coming up soon.
I know.
It's pretty early on in the season, I think, too. All right. Any other thoughts on this?
I think we covered it all.
All right. Well, then, should we wrap things up with some plugs?
Let's do it.
Yeah, we're not going to do notes from friends this week because we probably received messages for the last 3 months, and I honestly just have not had the energy to go and look through them. But we're back, so please start sending us messages.
Yes, we're back. And answer all the questions that I've left open.
Exactly. Yes. Please come in and correct Cameron. You can.
And also, who would you have on each team? Because we've forgotten.
Does that count this time because they're not on a mission?
Well, I'm asking for the fans, not for us.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. No, we're done talking.
Okay, good. It's podcasting again. It's like, riding a bike. You never forget. The problem is I never learned how to ride a bike, so we're fucked.
Yeah.
So
We started off flawed.
yeah, exactly. It's only getting downhill from here. All right, bat plugs. What do you have to plug?
For the past few weeks, I've been listening to a new podcast, new to me, not new in general.
I say you don't really listen to a lot of podcasts.
I don't. And this has kind of been my new staple. I listen to about 2 episodes a week right now called Do Go On. Also part of the Planet Broadcasting Network.
It's great.
We base all of our things off of them because they do it so much better.
They really do.
But it's so much fun. And it's kind of a story of the week podcast where it's 3 Australian comedians come together. They cycle who gets to tell the story, but each week one person picks a topic and does a deep dive, and they kind of do like an hour synopsis on various topics. So they did one on like Woodstock, which is super interesting. They did one on Firefest, which I think was a great parallel between the two.
Oh yeah, that'd be interesting.
Right after the documentary came out, there was what was the one that I just listened to? The one that I'm currently listening to is a French cult called the Raelianists.
Oh my god, I don't even know what that is.
Yes, it is a cult leader. It's kind of like Scientology light, where a cult leader was abducted by an alien called the Raelianist. Called the Raelian instead of the alien.
My god.
Yeah, and it basically says like every story from the Bible is true, except it's a little bit wrong. Where like Noah's Ark wasn't a boat, but actually a spaceship the Raelianists created for him because humanity was getting out of control and the Raelians couldn't control them anymore.
Humans are dumb.
Yeah.
We're so dumb.
Yeah. But they don't kill people, which is a great...
hey.
The reason they picked that cult specifically was like, they don't kill people, and that's kind of good.
What? Congratulations.
Weirdly rare in cults.
You've passed the lowest bar possible.
Yes.
Well done. Well done, cult.
But their topics go from anything and everything. I think the best episode I listened to was it's called "The Tale of Two Dream Teams," which talks about the 1992 Olympics.
Oh, okay.
Where we all know the story of the American Dream Team, but there's a second Dream Team that like lost to the American team.
Oh, the Russian team?
No,
wait, but that was 84.
That was when Russia won because pro players were not allowed to participate. So they couldn't pull from the NBA.
When was Miracle on Ice?
86.
86. Oh, okay.
Yes, that would have been winter.
But even in the Miracle, they were all college players. They weren't professional players.
Right. So it was after the basketball I think it was in like 90.
Oh, the basketball dream team.
Yes.
Oh,
what do you think I was talking about?
I thought you were talking about the Miracle on Ice.
Oh,
and
no. Miracle basketball team where Michael Jordan and not Charles Barkley. He wasn't on the team. Larry Bird, Magic Johnson all came and just like obliterated the world.
Yeah.
Where like every game they won was 40 points plus.
I mean, to be fair, yeah.
But no, the other team was the oh my god, the Lithuanians.
Okay.
Who were under Soviet control until the 92 Olympics.
Oh, okay.
So it was their first time getting to participate, not part of the Soviet Union.
Okay.
And they beat Russia, and that was their like big story.
Oh, I don't know about that. That's cool.
Like that was their big triumph. Was like the small, like the country of Lithuania at the time was like not even the size of New York. It was so small. They killed so many people, but still this team came out, and even when it was a Soviet team, the Lithuanians made up like 8 of 10 players.
Oh my god.
It was really interesting. It was really touching, just kind of hearing the history of these like really oppressed people.
Yeah.
To then lose to these multimillionaires on the American team.
Oh my god. That's just how the world works.
This is how it
works. Sadly. Yeah. Nothing gold can stay.
No. And the next episode I'm going to listen to is the history of Betty White.
Oh,
very excited.
That'd be very cool. Yeah.
But yeah, what have you been watching, listening, reading?
I also have a podcast to plug.
Oh.
Yes. So our friend and former guest on the show, Jonathan James, he put out the first few episodes of a new narrative podcast called Space Ranger 421. And it's kind of got a like an Aliens vibe. It's like aliens being like,
the more like action adventure.
Well, yeah, but like the idea, like they, it's a team of people go to Mars and try to like kind of uncover a mystery, and there's this threat looming in the background, and it kind of has this very claustrophobic feel and stuff like that. It's really good. Like he did a lot of it himself, like really good production design, like good voice casting. He did an excellent job on it. I think the first 4 episodes are out now as of the time of recording.
Okay.
And they're short. They're like 5 to 10 minutes per episode, and it all builds towards a longer story. So I got a preview of it earlier on. I've heard the whole thing, and I'm re-listening to it as it's coming out, and it's really good. So I highly recommend that.
Nice.
And then I watched Sweet Tooth.
Oh, how was that?
On Netflix. It's good. It's really, really sweet. I know, like, no pun intended. Like, obviously, we make reference to the Weekly Planet. Like, they covered it recently. They kind of talked about the fact that it's a lot different than the comic, which I have not read.
Yeah, apparently the comic is very dark.
Right. Yeah. This is not. I mean, to be fair, like, it does involve like very pandemic elements to it, and there's some like visual cues that are like, oh my god, we're currently living this now. But beyond all that, though, it is like a really nice story of like this kid has a very positive outlook on the world, and everyone around him is like really cynical from having lived through this pandemic, and there's animal hybrids now, and it's all this crazy shit's going on, and he just like is always trying to find like the best possible thing in people. Mm-hmm. It's really nice. It's like a really nice, like kind of heartwarming way to view a lot of what we've gone through this last year as people.
Yeah, very much so.
Yeah, and it's 8 episodes. Like acting's good in it. It's like good storytelling. It's well worth a watch.
Great.
So yeah,
I'm in a very, as I've mentioned on the previous few episodes, still in a place where it's hard for me to absorb new content at the moment.
Yeah.
So I feel like that sounds like a good like slow ease back into the new world.
Yeah. So that's good.
Also, it's the Kryptonians. I just remembered the word.
Thank you.
I remembered in the middle of your story is the Kryptonians.
Well done. Well done.
So no need for all the emails. If you're still in the middle of writing your long email that is now taking place over an hour, we found the answer. You don't need to send it anymore.
But if you've written it and you're just hovering over the send button, go ahead and send it through anyways.
The Kryptonians.
The Kryptonians.
Very similar to the Kaminoans. It was the same mouthfeel.
There's some... There is some similar mouthfeel, yes. I was about to say there's like similar consonants happening there, but I prefer your descriptor. Very similar mouthfeel. All right, well, I think that does it for us.
We did it.
Yeah.
Now for another 4-month break.
I know. We're these will actually becoming more regular now. There won't be a 3-month gap in between. We won't be taking a 1.5-month gap between recordings. So hopefully the next one will be out very soon. But the next episode will be covering episodes 3 and 4 of Justin Limited, which is Kid Stuff and Hawk and Dove.
Oh, I love Hawk and Dove.
Man, these are good episodes. Oh, okay. Well, if we needed a motivator to keep going, episode 5, this little piggy.
There we go.
All right.
Let's get some Kevin Conroy singing
Oh
again.
my god. But then episode. Okay. Honestly, like, know what's gonna keep us going? Just the lineup of what's coming next. So, give everyone a preview, right?
Okay.
So our next episode will be Kid Stuff and Hawk and Dove. Mm-hmm. After that, This Little Piggy and Fearful Symmetry, which is the Galatea episode.
Ooh.
After that, The Greatest Story Never Told and The Return. The Return is the return of Amazo.
Oh fuck.
Great episode.
Oh man, some time with the Atom again.
After that is Ultimatum with the Ultimate, which I don't quite remember very well. But then Dark Heart, which is the return of the alien technology from the very first episode from Secret Origins.
Okay.
Oh my god, it just keeps going. Wake the Dead, which is the Solomon Grundy episode.
Yes.
And then the Once and Future Things Part 1 and 2. This is a stacked season.
We have a lot to look forward to.
All right, I'm very much excited about this.
Good.
Very excited. But yeah, that's a little taste of what's to come in the next few weeks here. But thank you as listening for always. Thank you for sticking with us despite the long break. It was longer than intended just because, to be honest, Cam and I both had a lot of personal shit to work through over the last few months.
We're getting there.
Getting there. But this is helping.
Not with each other. We should say that for we're
good. Yeah, we're fine. Yeah.
It's a joke. It's a joke that we don't like each other. We very much enjoy each other.
Yes. That part's never gonna change. But yeah, we'll keep this going. But if you want to reach us, you can find us at TimTuckPod on Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, and Gmail.
Yes.
I am at Lordifer on Twitter and Instagram.
Yes. If you want to see my art, you can find that at Cameron.Dexter. If you want to see my face, you can find that at CamDexter_adventures.
Boom, boom, boom.
I remember how to do it.
Yeah. All right, but thanks for listening, everyone. We will be back most likely next week.
Definitely next week.
Hopefully next week.
We'll see.
We'll see. Thanks everyone, and bye-bye.
Bye.
Ba, 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 ba.
Ba, 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 ba-na-na-na-na. Ba, 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 ba-na-na-na-na. Beautiful. We'll workshop it.